My wife just asked me, how do I do 500 kettlebell swings in a row? A lot of people have asked me that same question. Now, I just finished a set of 500. Now, while it's top of mind, I'll walk somebody through that process. So that's called endurance kettlebell swinging. Now, there are a lot of benefits to doing that. One, your body is learning how to recover with movement or being active under load. Highly valuable. Number two, a lot of adaptations are occurring. Your body is enhancing its or optimizing its thermoregulation. It's the heart, left ventricle is adapting after about 3 months minimum of training, meaning the left ventricle is getting stronger, more voluminous, and it will pump more blood to the rest of your body, therefore increasing your VO2 max. What else? Plus it just feels great, okay? Now, why do I do endurance training? I kind of stumbled upon this. It was Mark Wildman is where I learned kettlebells from. He was my main mentor, main teacher. Now, he had a challenge for people, actually an instruction that said, pick up a weight, a kettlebell or club, and move it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes without setting it down. And I've experimented with that for about 3 years. And then one day I was like, I wonder how many kettlebell swings I can just do in a row. Now, my record is 750. I'm about to attempt the 1,000 swings, unbroken swings here in a moment. But 500 swings, okay. A friend of mine is like, how do you do that? My wife is freaking out. She's like, how do you do that? You're so cool, right? Okay, so you just try it, right? You got to develop a baseline first. If you're deconditioned, it's going to be very hard. I was training kettlebells for about 3 years before I attempted this. I was in muscle and fitness before that, working with barbells and dumbbells, eventually transitioned to full-time kettlebells and clubs. So there was a lot of adaptation that already occurred. And I was not deconditioned. Mentally prepared, there's a huge mental aspect to it. Because you experience a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort. But you know, the reward is that you're going to be a better optimized human being, a more capable human being afterwards. And I mean, how do we define discipline, right? In a behavioral and measurable way. It's how many times can you do a punishing behavior without experiencing the reward? So it sucks in the middle of the set, but the reward is all of the adaptations that occur in your body afterwards, right? So, I mean, this is highly valuable if you're a soldier in law enforcement or special operations, or anybody a father, right? A capable father, being that protector, the sentinel. You want to be able you want to have a body that is able to endure. And there's a difference between go muscle and show muscle. Kettlebells and clubs are all go muscle. So when you have to hop out of the Humvee or hop out of the squad car, or your father having to chase down somebody, if you have to, right? De-escalate the situation first and foremost. But if you have to, right, you can go. You can go whenever your body can handle it. And you have an increased VO2 max, you can go, you can endure, you have endurance. The stop muscle, the fatigue chemical, adenosine, is slow to react. So, okay. So let's talk through 500 kettlebell swings. Let's say 500, we start, and the first 100 suck. The first 100 are the worst. Now, why is that? Well, it's because there's no endorphins kicking in yet. You don't have the endorphins to block that fatigue chemical. There is no dopamine because you haven't accomplished anything yet. And the second 200, it feels a little better. Or excuse me, the second 100 feels a little better because now you got the endorphins. The fatigue chemical, adenosine, is being blocked. And then here's something amazing that happens. So if you're trying to set a 500, when you reach 250 reps, something amazing happens. Your body releases dopamine right away. Huge shot of dopamine right there. And that's the halfway point. You were at one point looking forward about all the reps that you have to do. And when you get to that halfway point, your mind switches to backwards thinking. You got forward thinking and backwards thinking. When you start to think backwards thinking, you think about how little of reps that you have left to do versus how many reps you still have to do. And there's a major psychological benefit to that. And then the point there, what's the point? It's like if you're trying to set a 500, you only need to focus on the halfway point. If you're trying to get to 500, only get 250, because it's almost like going on the peak of the mountain, even though it doesn't make sense. Once you get to the halfway point, it's all downhill from there. Even though you're working harder, you're fatigued, the neurological chemicals, the neurochemicals that are being released make it easier, even though you're getting more tired with the dopamine and the endorphins. It's really cool. So first 100, most difficult. Second 100, starting to feel a little better. 250, major dopamine shot, a lot of endorphins in your body now. The third 100 is all right. And then when you get to 400 reps, man, there is, you've achieved 80%, right? Why, how does dopamine fire? It's through the accomplishment, right? You've accomplished something. So you get a major dopamine shot at 400. And then the last 100 are the easiest, because now you're counting down from 100. I like to count down from 100. And then you know you don't have to quit, right? And then you get 500, you accomplish something, it's good, and you achieved 500, you get a massive dopamine shot, endorphins are peaked, norepinephrine is peaked, focus and alertness, and it's one of the better feelings that you can experience working out. So one time, if you like that feeling of in the endorphins, right? I did a set of 1,000 snatches, kettlebell snatches with a 16 kilogram kettlebell. And that was over the course of like 6 hours, but it was 10 sets of 100. All of these neurochemicals spiked, especially endorphins, right at the end of the workout, but they continued to release for 12 to 24 hours later. I woke up the next morning and I was expecting to experience some type of pain, some type of tightness, some type of stiffness somewhere in my hips and my knees and my lower back somewhere. There was nothing, right? And I felt like I was floating. I felt like I was on some pharmacological drugs, morphine or whatever. And I wasn't. I was in this dreamy state. And I looked it up, and it's because the endorphins are still releasing 12 to 24 hours after that grueling workout. So I challenge you. I encourage you, try that. Work up to 1,000 reps on a kettlebell movement, specifically the swings and the snatches, the ballistic posterior chain explosive workouts. The posterior chain can experience and endure more volume than the anterior chain, the front of the body. And you don't feel wrecked afterward. Not like working in the barbells, right? Tight chest, you feel like crap in the morning. Tight legs, tight hip flexors. But I want to show you a couple things with the bell. So the fatiguing or the limiting factor in this video is getting way too long. The limiting factor in the endurance kettlebelling is the grip. Okay, my left hand is the weak link sometimes, specifically these two fingers. So I have to be creative with my grip. I'm going to show you a few of those. Okay. So normal grip here. Hopefully you can see me. Right here, that hand starts to fatigue. You can switch to one hand, no big deal. Right, sometimes if you can see that, sometimes I'll grab with the pinkies. My hands are too big to fit everything in here comfortably. Sometimes I'll leave the pinkies out. Sometimes I'll leave the index fingers out. I'll switch back and forth to those two grips. Or my weak hand, I'll put underneath. And I'll scoop the strong hand underneath. And I'll do kettlebell swings with this parallel grip here. And that is great. So you got a few options. Pick up a kettlebell. Learn how to use it. Become hard to break. Not impossible, just harder. And if you're deconditioned and you want to lose some pounds, doing the endurance stuff will shed the pounds, shed the fat right off your body. In some cases without even changing your diet. Because the intensity just goes up and you feel great, you don't feel broken. That's the whole point. Why do we train? 4 reasons. Health and longevity, number 1. If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your loved ones. Number 2, save somebody else's life, be Batman. Number 3, save your own life. And number 4, adventure. Be able to explore the world, try new things. Your friend calls you the night before, says, hey, you want to climb that 14er tomorrow? No second guessing your decision, you can just go. You're sitting in that squad car and you got to get out and go into a sprint. No worries, right? Special operator, speed, surprise, violence of action. No problem, right? You can get up and go whenever you want. And if you're in martial arts and you're not training kettlebells and heavy clubs, well, I think you're making a mistake, because when you start training with these tools, good luck having somebody break down your posture. So that's all I got for you. In the comment section below, if I was talking and I was about to make a point, or you had a question and I didn't answer it, put it in the comments. Tell me what you're doing. We have a community over at school as well where we're dropping free programs, helping people get conditioned, helping people become better versions of themselves physically and mentally. That's it. Hit me with any other question you got. This is a long video. See ya.